Well, congrats, Disney. You did it again. Dishonor! Dishonor on you! Dishonor on your cash cow! Dishonor on all these Disney remakes! Mulan deserves better, man! God! Okay. Let me make this very, very clear. If you like this movie, because there's a lot of people, I know Mulan has a following of it. If you like this movie, please share why. I would honestly, that's what I like to do. You're gonna hear a rant here. You can probably catch on. I didn't like this movie, but my opinion doesn't have to be your opinion. If anything, I just reviewed the original Mulan from Disney this week, and I said I didn't like the villain, and a lot of people were commenting, well, here's what I like about the villain. Here's why it worked. I thought that was very interesting. They brought up some good points. So please don't take this personal. If you really like this movie, don't let me take that away from you. I'm delivering my honest point of view. I don't want to lie about it. And if you have a different opinion, if you saw something different, please share it. That's very much what I like to hear. That's what I like to read. I like hearing different points of view. This one is just mine. So please, if you really do enjoy it, I would love to hear why. Well, that said, I hated this movie. God damn it. Okay, so... I'm so filled with anger. So I should at least say what I thought of the original Mulan. I just did a Nostalgia Critic review of it, but just to do a quick fast version of it, I thought the original was okay. I thought it had more of a comedic lean than a dramatic lean. It did have dramatic moments, that's good, but I wanted more of that. I kind of wanted more Chinese culture as well, kind of less Eddie Murphy and all that stuff, but it's totally fine. I thought it was good. I see why it got a following. It's very quotable and stuff. So I was legit excited for this movie because it really looked like they were going to focus more on Chinese culture, which they do. It was going to be more serious, which it is. But everything that made the original charming, that made you interested, that made you want to follow this character, that made you want to know what was going to happen next, again, in these goddamn remakes, is just completely written out. It's like, no, you don't need to make her interest. She's just strong. Boom! Right off the bat, the first image you see of her is her as a little kid with a bow flipping around. And the people going, no, not liking that, no. And that is just already a huge mistake. And I'll tell you why. I mean, anyone that watches me knows I like a strong character, man, woman, doesn't matter if it matches the story, if it matches the journey, if it matches the struggle. Wonder Woman starts off strong, great. Kim Possible starts off strong, great. Rey, I even like Rey from Star Wars. All of those characters, where they start off matches where their journey is going to lead them. The original Mulan, in the animated version, she's trying to bring honor to her family. She's trying to do right by her father and even her mother, and she's not very good at it. They want her to be a proper bride and everything, and she's clumsy, which I know is like a 90s rom-com cliche, but it still gave her personality. It's still something where you see her, it's like, you get her, you get what she's about. And then, as I'm sure many of you know the story, her father is being drafted to war because they don't have, he never had any sons. So she makes the sacrifice, dresses up as a boy, and goes to join the army despite having no idea how to fight. And she has to be in this army and learn their ways, learn how to fight like they do as well. They don't know how to fight. And she's not only proving herself to them, but she's proving how strong she can be to herself. So that as you get to the song, Make a Man Out of You, I mean, she looks at that pole and she says, okay, I'm gonna get that arrow. Like, I've learned how to really focus. I'm not gonna, no one's even watching. I just have to do this for myself. And she climbs that thing and throws that arrow down. Everybody cheers. You feel that struggle. And that's why you're with her. That's why you're cheering her on. That's why you want to see her succeed at the end. She's just already perfect. Already perfect. And the father encourages it. He's like, oh, no, come on. I know people don't like her being like that, but come on, let's do the martial arts. You'll be great. Until she doesn't. Until she's suddenly, bad for that. And the father is totally like, I know my place. You know yours. Where'd that come from? The whole time he's encouraging her to be a badass and to fight and stuff like that. And just suddenly when he's drafted, he's like, I am the father, you're the daughter. Totally out of character. So everything you were trying to build up with that connection is, just kind of thrown out the window because it doesn't match up. And then you have, I feel like you just gotta go in order with this. So you have the matchmaker scene, again, where she's dressed up like a bride, and she clearly doesn't want to in this, and it's not even her fault this time that things go wrong. Like, it's the sister's fault, the sister who is entirely pointless. You could write her out, not miss a thing, and she sees a spider, goes, ah! And all the teacups and everything fly up, but she, of course, because she's a martial arts master, catches all the teacups because she's just perfect. Girls, you don't have to go through a struggle. You don't have to learn anything. Just wake up perfect. Like Alice from the new Alice in Wonderland movies, like Belle from the new Beauty and the Beast movie, like Cinderella from the new Cinderella. Just wake up perfect. That's what Disney's trying to teach you now. I really don't like that they are not showing the struggle, that they are not showing building strength, that they are not showing learning at all, that you're just waking up perfect. That's ironically what they're trying to fight against. You look at like all the old Disney heroines that, people are like, oh, well, they're all kind of the same and they're kind of sexist and stuff like that. And yeah, there's issues, but like, I remember them. I remember them fighting for, what they wanted and looking for, what they wanted. I mean, they actually went through a struggle, and a lot of them went through a change as well. And I feel like we're just erasing that for some reason because they just automatically have to start off strong. And that is not how this story works. So when she goes to the army, which comes right out of nowhere too. I mean, you remember when, she's not, the matchmaker throws her out and says, you bring dishonor. She goes and sings this song, and this isn't a musical, which is fine. But she goes and thinks about, man, where do I belong? What should I do? I'm lost. That's completely gone. Completely gone. As soon as she leaves the matchmaker, they come in and say, we're drafting for the army. Like, what? Are we supposed to have any feelings for this character? And the answer is no. Because even when the father says, I know my place, you learn yours, cut to her swinging the sword, taking the outfit like... No. You be quiet, phone. You be quiet. I am angry. I am gonna talk about this. Instead of showing her, sitting there, against the statue and crying, and she looks up and sees her frail father and shakes her hand and goes, no, I'm gonna do this. And you have that great montage with that great music of her going in, and she closes her eyes when cutting her hair like, I'm really gonna do this because this is a big deal. Cuts the hair, goes, gets the horse, looks back at her house, gives a sigh, and rides off. No, she just swings the sword. You see her in the outfit, boom, there she goes. And then you see her with the army. Like you are supposed to have no reaction to this at all. It's like, oh yeah, well, you know what she's gonna do. Totally. And then they get rid of Mushu. Again, a lot of these ideas on paper I'm very okay with because I do want to see it more serious, but they replace it with a phoenix. Cool idea. Barely does anything. Another character, element, Phoenix barely even talks, that you could just write out. And she goes to this army, and again, just immediately perfect. Like, somebody tries to push her, and he takes the guy and twists his arm and everything like that. So, okay, you don't really have to build anything. Oh, except for one thing. They talk about a person's chi. And when I say talk about, they just say the word. Like, if you want to really learn about a person's chi or chakra or anything like that, go watch Avatar: The Last Airbender. They do such a better job teaching that to children than this PG-13 film is to teens and above, which there's no reason to rate this PG-13. The reason it's PG-13 is because the same reason, in Star Wars, remember when that planet blows up? It's like, that would be PG-13 today. They said a lot of people died, so PG-13. And so the only thing she does is that, she's told it's like, well, I feel like you're holding back. You're not being true to yourself and give into your chi, because they just say it once, so you're supposed to know what it is. I mean, unless I missed something, unless there's a point where they were talking about, but I didn't see it. I guess I could have missed it, but so then she lifts the pails of water up before anyone else, and that's apparently her not holding back. So she was already practically perfect. Now she's absolutely perfect. So, well, alright, what growth then do you have for this character, which by the way is giving no expressions to anything? I mean, like, I didn't think Mulan was like a phenomenal character in the original or anything, but she had personality, she had fear. One of the lines she says in this is that she's with the other soldiers and she says, "You can't have courage without fear." Well, she has no fear in this. None. She has no reaction to anything. And say what you want about the original Mulan, I remember her reactions, I remember her lines, I just remember her. And I feel like this character will be completely forgotten, like the remake of Belle and the remake of Cinderella and all these other remakes that are just not getting the point of these stories. You know, even if they're small stories or big stories, they're not understanding the journey of them. And then you have the villain, who's played by, I think his name is Jason Scott, who, if you don't know Jason Scott, look up his movie. This is a mad, entertaining dude. He is so much fun to watch. So I got really excited, and man, if you thought the villain in the original didn't have much to him or didn't have many scenes, well, they fix it here because now the real villain, kinda, sorta, is a witch. Which, again, is kind of cool. I saw her in the trailers, isn't giving away anything. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool. He has, like, this minion or supernatural element that can turn into things and stuff like that. But it turns out the witch doesn't like working for him. She's just doing it because she can't be accepted anywhere. So she thinks if she makes a deal with him, she can, you know, rise to power. She can get what she really wants. And the bad guy in this even says, you know, yeah, I know you don't like me, but I'm the only way that you can get what you want. Bullshit! All she talks about is, oh, they would never accept me, but everybody knows who the witch is. Everybody is afraid of this witch. This witch could, like, take over the kingdom. She practically does on her own. But they're like, oh, but I'll never be accepted. It's like, they're the outsiders. They're the enemies trying to take over. They'll do whatever it takes. If you walk up, you know, this society that doesn't like women and say, I'm the leader of this army now of all you men. They go, haha, yeah, screw you. And she's like, oh, okay, go follow your head off that cliff. And like 5 people go off a cliff. Okay, we're with you, man. And boom, you got them. She can literally transform into other people. I think she can even like go inside people and control them and stuff like that. There's a scene where she goes in the shadow or whatever. And it's just like, why is she with this dude? It makes no sense. And she, near the end, is talking about how, oh, your society would accept you, but mine won't. And I'm just looking at this like they all know who she is and what she can do. And honestly, it looks like they're ready to follow her, but they're following this guy just because. So he makes even less sense, and he might even have even less screen time, which is a waste of a great actor. Jet Li is the emperor in this, and Jet Li is acted great in several movies. He's not acted the best in other films, but he, for whatever reason, is just like completely dubbed in this. And it doesn't sound like it's his voice. If it is, I mean, he's dubbing over the whole thing with this different voice that doesn't sound that much like him. And it is weird. It's distracting. And I don't get it because Jet Li can act. And he can also catch arrows when they're fired at him, but then, oh my god, okay, so I guess I can't go too much into spoilers, but, you know the scene, in the original where, I guess a hint of a spoiler, the Emperor is captured, and it's by surprise. Well, in this one, it's pretty much made clear, hey, these people are gonna come and capture you. He's like, all right, well, let me make it easy. I'm just gonna go out there with a few guards just by myself and, let them do it. And guess what happens? He goes out there with a few guards and they do it. This is the dumbest goddamn emperor in the freaking world. And so halfway through, they make it clear, what's the message of the original Mulan? Well, she's trying to protect her family. She's trying to bring honor to herself and to her family. And she's trying to do this unconventionally. And she's trying to do it in secret because if she's discovered, they'll kill her. So she's trying to, grow as a character, save what needs to be saved, and in turn, society changes as well. They see this and they say, okay, we got it. We should back off on our prejudices too. Nuh-uh, not this one. This one is, you should always be yourself. Always. So halfway through, she's like, screw the boy shit. I'm gonna go and, go out there and show who I really am and stuff like that. And I was wrong for pretending to be someone else and everything. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what's the other option in this society? You're gonna go up to this army and say, yes, I'm a girl, but I want to fight with everyone else. And they'll be like, piss off. And she'll say, no, I want to go in there and fight. Okay, cut her head off. Like, this is the society they present. Like, this is how it would work. Like, she did what she had to do. And you understand that. But then she comes out and shows, who she really is. And, they say, well, what are we going to do? And they say, well, let's kick her out. And she's like, I'd rather be executed. And she says it's so flat, so bland. I have no idea if she legit wanted to be executed or if she's just saying that as a phrase. I mean, there's just no reaction. After she saves, I guess her romantic lead? I don't know. They have a few conversations. They're building up like they're going to be romantic, but they never act on it. But after she saves this supposed romantic lead, like there's the guy, she puts her hand on his chest and he starts breathing. Just nothing. Absolutely nothing. She gets up and walks away. Like, can't you even care that the person you're supposed to care about is alive? And then she walks away just so she can walk right back to reveal herself. So that makes no sense. And the climax of this, oh my god, is, I mean, there's some good fighting, like that's cool, but everything I feel like that was building up for the original Mulan, the struggle and what she had to go through, is just constantly being pushed aside so they can say, no, she's strong and everyone should be like this. So she, again, without giving away too much, I mean, it's pretty similar to the original stories. It's nothing too revealing, but she goes, says what's gonna happen. Again, I won't reveal what's gonna happen, but she says something is gonna happen, and everyone just instantly is like, okay, we're in. Which, all right, fantasy, give a little leeway, whatever. But then they're like, lead the way. You lead the army. Like, you just decided not to kill her. Like, in the original, like, that was the nice thing to do, is not kill her. And now they're like, just instantly, they're like, lead the army, you're in control, you take everything, take it all. And it's like, this world makes no sense. And even though it's fantasy, even though I know they're trying to make it for kids, in this PG-13 movie that doesn't need to be PG-13, is acting like it's written for 5-year-olds, they're trying to, grow it up, I guess, a touch. But it is just so much more insulting because I think they're trying to act like that they're the grown-up version, that they're the more adult one, and they're really missing the importance of a character going through an arc, a character discovering something, a character growing. And I maybe would have been more forgiving of this if they hadn't done this over and over and over in these terrible Disney remakes. And I'm just so sick of seeing it, and I felt like I was so ready to like this movie. I was so ready to go in and be like, okay, but Chinese culture, swords and fights, and no Eddie Murphys or anything. We're really gonna take this seriously. But no, it's Disney's shitty remake formula smeared all over it. And let me make this really clear. The director of this directed Whale Rider. She already directed Mulan. Let's be honest. Whale Rider was already Mulan. I'm not sure when it came out, but maybe it was Mulan even before Mulan. And it's done so much better. And I was looking at more of her films too in her library, and it's like, okay, well, these all kind of have similar themes too. And they got good reviews and everything. So I'm like, all right, well, she's already done this idea very well. I remember Whale Rider. I remember how, as strong that was. It does show the struggle, and she's an interesting character even before the struggle has to start. And that is not what we get here, and I am just willing to bet that's the movie she was trying to direct, and Disney came in and said, nope, gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do that, and make her a doll. Make her a doll that kids like to play with and kick ass, and I'm strong, yay! And just don't put any of that personality in there, that pesky personality that, people are still quoting today. They're still quoting the lines from Mulan. It's okay to have your hero be weak. That's where the bravery comes from. That's where the courage comes from. She herself says it in this goddamn movie. The bravest characters to me, are like Atticus Finch from Kill a Mockingbird, clearly afraid in many scenes. Mrs. Brisby from Seeker and Nim, just terrified of everything. She's out of her realm, but she goes in and does this stuff anyway, and they're likable characters, and you fear for them. I was never afraid this character was in any trouble, ever. I don't even think she did either. There's several scenes where it looks like, they might execute her or something like that, and no reaction. None. And I think that is such an insult to the original movie that, yes, I thought, I think it's okay. It's fine the way it is. But again, stuff like this and Mulan 2 and everything else they've done with it really makes me appreciate it more and more. I really think it's an insult to how hard these people worked to say, hey, your hero has to have weakness. Your hero has to slip up. There have to be mistakes. Instead of, we're afraid somebody will read too deep into this and call it, I don't even know, too weak or think that's sexist or whatever. And I feel like this somehow is more sexist by not giving your character, by just acknowledging that they're super women already. And that's just, no, there is a struggle. I don't care if you're a man, woman, or anything. You have to show that struggle. You have to show that growth. And I really feel like that's missing here. And if I had to guess, I don't think it's the director. I think it's Disney because it just has that remake bullshit smeared all over it, and I am just so sick of it. I think I'm more sick of it from Disney more than other places. I do see in other places, but I don't know. I see on TV, I see in other kid shows and stuff like that. There's a lot of films and shows, for children that are doing this fine. They have great characters, male, female, whatever, and they show them struggling. They show them, getting stronger. They're interesting. You remember them. Steven Universe, man, watch that. All those characters are distinct and they have their own problems. And, majority of the people in there are women. And that's just light years beyond what the strong female character is trying to bring us here. And it's such a letdown because I feel like you really could have had a serious, good, strong Disney remake for once, just for once. And they don't do it. I feel like it was just, the pieces were there, it was practically written for them, and they just do the same safe bullshit. And I was saying before, I think I get more angry when this happens with Disney than other. Obviously, other films or shows, have done this too. Not a ton, but they have. But Disney is such a giant and has created these characters that people remember. I do remember Alice. I do remember Belle. I do remember Cinderella. It's like, are there issues with them? I guess, if you really want to pick them apart, like there is with any character. But there's so much more with the remake of Belle and the remake of Alice and the remake of Cinderella than there is with the original. And Disney is just such a powerhouse, and everybody looks to them because they do remember these characters. They're fairy tales, and they're taught to us when we were kids, and they follow us into adulthood, and they mean so much. And I feel like if Disney can't understand why those stories were so important, that's a major problem because they really do represent a lot. And maybe I'm putting too much on them. Maybe I'm saying, look, you're just a company looking to make money and tell stories like anyone else, but it's feeling more like the making money part than the telling the story part. It feels like you're trying to hit this checklist so that people won't complain. And in doing so, you're creating these completely forgettable stories that are ironically working more against what you're trying to prevent. So, I really didn't like this movie. But what is so sad about it is this is still one of the better Disney remakes. I just can't believe that, but there are things in this that I think are above the other ones. I was saying before, there is more Chinese culture in this than the original, which I really like. I feel like that was really lacking in the original. Like there's bits of it, but I really could use more, and there is more here. Particularly in the training scenes, they're talking about the philosophy of battle, and I really like that. Even though they just say the word she and they don't show it too much, I like that it is brought up, kids can go home and say, what is chi? I mean, that's something. Then you put on Avatar The Last Airbender, an actual good show for boys and girls. I like the fighting in it is decent. I think, even though Jet Li's in it, you're not going to get, any Jet Li martial arts or Jackie Chan martial arts. I mean, you rarely get that anywhere. But for a Disney film that has, action and stuff like that, it's decent and it looks nice. Speaking of looking nice, it is visually gorgeous. There's sometimes I wish they would hold on shots a little bit more, but they don't skim over them too much. I mean, they do legit let the beauty of, this culture sink in and the mountains in the background and stuff like that. And I feel like the money is there. You can see the money that was spent on this movie. I guess there's a little interest in the witch character because she was a new character and I had an idea what they were going to do with her, but I didn't 100% know how. And every once in a while she had an interesting line. There's actually kind of a cool scene where she's talking to Mulan that I really dug, and then she just lets her go, even though she says the plan. Oh my god, this movie makes no sense. All right, so I'm trying to think if there's anything. If you're a parent and you got some kids at home, this is still kind of during the time of quarantine and everything, and they really want to see it, you can show it to them. I think to them it'll feel like, I'm watching the grown-up version of Mulan, because, there's not as many goofy jokes and so forth, which, God, that's the truth. There is, no humor in this whatsoever. But I think kids, I don't think they'll love it, but they'll want to see it just because it is more the grown-up version of this story, of a film they grew up with. You can show it fine, I guess. I mean, if they got through the other Disney remakes, fine. They'll get through this one, fine. But I don't think the rewatch value is there, man. I think it's like all the other Disney remakes. I think they're gonna watch the original Lion King, the original Cinderella, the original Mulan. I think they're gonna watch those far more than these awful remakes. And God, this is my review of one of the better ones. I think Beauty and the Beast is worse and Lion King is worse. I mean, not just worse, far worse. But I think I'm just drowning in these Disney remakes. I'm just so sick of the same thing. And I guess, there's a part of me that's sick of them making money, because they're really skipping over what they could be doing, what they could be creating. And I just really think their focus is in the wrong spots of why these stories still stick with people, why Mulan is popular, and why all these other films are so popular, and why they stay with us for so long, and why we quote them. Who the hell's gonna quote anything from this movie? I mean, there's nothing to quote. So even though I really went off here, because, man, I hate these Disney remakes. And I was so looking forward to this one. I thought this was going to be it. I really thought this was going to be the one to win me over. I really do mean it when I say if you enjoy this film, I would really legitimately love to know why. What won you over with it? Did you think the changes were stronger? Did you like that it was more serious? Were you glad there wasn't much humor to it and that it was scaled down? I mean, that's all stuff I wanted to love. It looked good in the trailer. But I really, really mean it, because I know people get so offended when somebody online doesn't like what they like, and please do not take it that seriously. Just take what'll make you better out of things and ride that if possible. The same way I'm asking you if there's something that really touched you about this movie, or even if you just thought it was okay. What was it that drew you in? Because I do legit like hearing that stuff, and I like hearing different points of view. I obviously really didn't like this, but I would love to know if other people really thought, that it was acted well and it was shot well and all this stuff. Because like I said, I haven't seen the critics' reaction. I haven't seen audience reaction. I mean, I just saw it the morning it was on Disney Plus. So I really honestly would love to know what you think. Did you really love it? Did you think it was far better than the original? Did you think it was somewhere in between? Yeah, it was okay. Or did you just not like it, man? Because I don't know what the reaction to this movie is. So, it's not for me. Like I said, if you're just looking for a kind of more grown-up version and you're just gonna like Mulan, kind of no matter what, and you just want to see a girl go and fight for an army and stuff like that. It's there. I mean, there's a lot of, like I said, nice elements with the scenery and the action and so forth. I was just looking for more, and sadly didn't get it. But maybe you will. So if you have seen this, please definitely let me know what your thoughts are. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Take care.